Okay, so this problem says solve fully by plotting and analyzing the plot carefully. I'm actually going to do it two ways. I'm going to do it the way it's requested, and then I'm going to show you how to do it just using algebra, even though that wasn't what was requested. I want to show you that you get the same answer. However, if you've already learned how to plot these guys, you don't have to additionally learn how to deal with the inequality. So you kind of buy one get one free with these concepts. Okay, so this function here is, I'm going to call this box, that's f. Right there is f. Okay, so you know there has to be an asymptote if x equals what? X equals something to give us 0 in the denominator, so if x is 4/7. Now, let's say you don't see that right away, so you just say what's going to cause the denominator to be 0? X is 4/7. Okay, so leave it there if you calculated it, but if you can just look and say, okay, I want 4 minus 4, and so to make 7 times something 4, it has to be 4/7. Okay, so either way, you figure out that this guy causes a vertical asymptote. Okay, so the other asymptote is y equals 0 is other asymptote. In other words, it's the horizontal asymptote. And why is that? Because the denominator can become positive infinity or negative infinity, and 1/infinity is 0, or 3/infinity is still 0. So that's not that surprising. Okay, so those are your two pieces of information. Will help you plot. Okay, so we know this is an asymptote here, and there's another asymptote. Just make it another color. Some kind of positive x is equal to 4/7 is another asymptote. Now, is this going to be like this? It would be if it were like 1/x, but it's like 1/-x, so it's in the opposite direction. But let's pretend like we didn't remember that. So this is why often in these examples I say, what's f of 1? Okay, f of 1 is 3/4 minus 7. 3/-3 is just -1. So 4/7 is here, so 1 may be over here somewhere, and then maybe -1 is down here. 1, -1. That just gives you one point of reference. But that's good. Let's see. Well, f of 0 is an easy one to pick, and that would be 3/4. So that guy's over here. And again, we know we have another asymptote right over here. Alright, so let's try drawing a function like that and like that. This is not the prettiest picture, I apologize. But there you go. That is what you need. So now the question is, where is this function less than 0? Well, the function is less than 0. This piece of the function is less than 0. And so it's where x is greater than 4/7, right? And, well, that's all we need to know, right? For x is greater than 4/7, we get y is smaller than 0, but y is f. Okay, that's all we need to say. So now let's show what we would do if we just use the algebra. We said 3/4 minus 7x less than 0. The problem is I would like to multiply both sides by 4 minus 7x. But I don't know, it could be positive or it could be negative. So since it could be positive or negative, I have a problem, right? So let's try another trick. Let's take the reciprocal of both sides. No, sorry, can't take the reciprocal of 0. Oh well, okay, let's try something else. Let's try the following. We know that this guy is positive. So we know that whatever this guy is, whatever the sign is here, is going to dominate the sign of the whole term. It doesn't matter if it's in the numerator or the denominator, whatever the sign is, it is. So it's actually the same as saying 4 minus 7x is less than 0. If you get that far, then you're home free, because I can add 7x to both sides, and then I can divide by 7. Okay? But you may be more accustomed to seeing this same expression written this way. Alright? So that's fine. If you know how to do that, then you should do that as a way of checking your work. But as I've said, this whole bit of logic, the reason why it's so tricky is because you have to split it into a million cases in your head and figure out, what if I do this, what if I do this. Keeping track of all that algebra is a real pain if you have enough skills in visual plotting or visualizing what's going on with these plots, that you can just plot this guy and just tell right off what's going on. Well, this function is less than 0 here. This is where the function is less than 0, and then you can just look at it and see what's going on. So, yep, okay, so I'm hoping that you're learning how to plot rational functions, and that this is helping you solve inequalities without hurting your head. I'm hoping that it's making things come together for you instead of making things more complicated.